I'm not a co-host. I wasn't formally invited to participate, but I see this thing every June, and it's time to read some Westerns. So we're going to jump right into it. But before we do have two holdover books from May, unfortunately, because like I said, this reading month has been a shit show for me. Um, Haji Murad by Leo Tolstoy. We didn't get to that one. And then The Exorcist by William P. Blatty. These are my two holdovers from May, and we'll be completing them in June at some point. Um, with that being said, June is looking up. We are going to do the reading, and it's going to be a lot better than May. You have my guarantee on that. So these are in no particular order. I've stacked them according to size because I'm that kind of person. Um, but ironically, we're going to start with the westerns first. So we have two of them. They're both by the same author, William W. Johnstone and J.A. Johnstone. The first one is Never Let Them See You Bleed, and this is book one in the Tin Horn Western series. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the back, probably on all of the books. That way you can get a sense for what I'm reading. And if you want to join along, you can. The Making of a Lawman. Flint Moran was 14 years old when the Civil War ended. He was 15 when his family bought a plot of land near Tin Horn, Texas. He was barely 19 when he caught a pair of rustlers stealing cattle and single-handedly brought them to justice. How did a teenage boy track down and capture two hard-case thieves without any help? That's what Tin Horn Sheriff Buck Jackson wants to know. He can't help but to be impressed by Flint's sharp eye and natural talent with a Henry rifle. So he offers to deputize the boy, tin badge, Colt Frontier six-shooter and all, and Flint happily accepts. But there are things the young deputy doesn't know, and what he doesn't know could kill him. There's a gunman coming to town. A showdown is brewing that could prove to be Flint's first and possibly last test. But either way, there will be blood. I don't know. That sounds freaking awesome. I like Westerns. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Um, the second one is actually in a series that I've read the first book of. So this is book two, and that's These Men Chose Hell, and this is book two in the Fort Misery Western series. This one, I'm not going to read the back because it spoils some shit from book one. Um, so those are the two Westerns that I'll be reading. So far, we'll see. We could get to more. I got a lot of Louis L'Amour and Elmore Leonard over there somewhere. Um, but then after that, we're going to jump into some military thrillers from a new author, one that I have never read his fiction, but he did write the American Sniper Chris Kyle memoir, and that is Ian McEwan, Sniper Elite. This one I just got in that thrifting book haul, as you guys saw. So we'll read the back and see what we're in for. One team, one shot, one way. In direct defiance of the president's orders, Navy Master Chief Gil Shannon, one of America's most lethal SEAL snipers, launches on his own bold mission comprised of SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force fighters to free a female helicopter pilot being held and brutally mistreated by Taliban insurgents in Afghanistan. The president fears a botched rescue would be a foreign policy disaster and the end of his term. But once the special ops community learns that one of their own has been taken hostage, there's no executive order strong enough to stop them from going in, whatever the risks. I mean, that sounds fucking awesome to me. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I said, this is this is his first foray into fiction, so I have high hopes reading the blurb on that one. The next two are a series, but I've been hearing that it's better to read them together, or at least close enough together. So I'm just going to read them as if they're one book, or at least, like back to back. And that is His Black Tongue by Mitchell Luthi and In the Name of the Worm. So I'll just read you the back of His Black Tongue, book one. That way we don't spoil things reading the back of book two. Um, there is no plague in Enfer. Dead things have been found in the fields of Enfer, a God-fearing town north of Reims. Not just dead things, but twisted forms, unholy shapes, and there are rumors too of a blasphemous union and of fell creatures that haunt the night. Yet even as plague and witch pyres blacken the sky, the town remains untouched by the malady that has already claimed thousands and will claim thousands more. It is here in Enfer that an old Franciscan friar and his ward take shelter from the storm. It is here, in a little town on the edge of civilization, that they will have their faith truly tested. His Black Tongue is a tale of medieval horror, plunging the reader into the plague-torn land of 14th century France, when pestilence and death walked hand in hand, and life was little more than a sputtering candle, waiting to be put out. But there are worse things than death, than sickness and decay, and it comes upon leathery black wings. Yeah, I'm in on this 100% all day, every day. Historical medieval horror is like pretty friggin' awesome. So I'm excited to read that. We'll see how it is. The other one that I'm looking into getting in the same vein as this is Between Two Fires, because I've been hearing a shit ton of stuff about it. So I want to get into that and just see what it's about, you know? I have a lot of that author's like fantasy works. Um, and I've been working through that series obviously before I started the channel, but so I know of him. I just, like I said, I haven't read any of his like horror medieval fiction. So the next one, we got two science fiction authors that I've been taking a break from, but not because of them. It's just because I didn't want to burn through their entire catalogs too quickly because, you know, they're both dead. So it's not like we're seeing anything new coming out from these guys. So you know, I'm trying to savor the flavor, you know. The first one is Philip K. Dick, and that is Time Out of Joint. So I'll read this one, but yeah, you can see like that's my Philip K. Dick collection, and that's the author I'm going to talk about next. But yeah, I'm just trying not to burn through all their shit like super fast, and then you know not have anything to be looking forward to from them. So here it is, Raggle Gum. That's a fucking name. Has a unique job. Every day he wins a newspaper contest, and when he isn't consulting his charts and tables, he enjoys his life in a small town in 1959. At least that's what he thinks. But then strange things start happening, and a magazine article about a famous starlet named Marilyn Monroe, whom he's never heard of. Plus, everyday objects are beginning to disappear and are replaced by strips of paper with words written on them like a bowl of flowers and soft drink stand. When Raggle skips town to try and find the cause of these bizarre occurrences, his discovery could make him question everything he has ever known. So I mean, just off of that kind of description, it seems like it's kind of like a Truman Show or like Under the Dome kind of situation, um, where you know obviously shit's not what it seems, and he's living a life that's not what it seems. Um, Man, that was super intelligent. Way to go, Kyle. Um, the next book is by another author that is science fiction, but also dead. And that is J.G. Ballard, and we're reading The Drought. I know the only book I've read from him so far, even though I have a lot of them, is High Rise, and High Rise was amazing. It was one of those books where you read it and the character study into how people behave when like external forms of control are shut off and they're left to their own devices. It's like Lord of the Flies meets um It's like Lord of the Flies, but they're in a sky like a high-rise skyscraper. It's fantastic. Go read it. Um, but yeah, so the drought is what we're reading. So we're going to read the blurb, and maybe we'll have some people join us along in this journey. J.G. Ballard is one of the best. Um, Water. Man's most precious commodity is a luxury of the past. Radioactive waste from years of industrial dumping has caused the sea to form a protective skin strong enough to devastate the earth it once sustained. And while the remorseless sun beats down on a dying land, civilization itself begins to crack. The world is threatened by dramatic climate change. In this highly acclaimed and influential novel, one of the most important early works by the best-selling author of Cocaine Nights and Supercons, or Supercanes. I don't know. British shit. Um, so yeah, that's J.G. Ballard's The Drought. We're gonna check that out this month and see what we think. So in other news, um I finished a couple books on audio. The reviews for those will might come out. It just depends. I don't know if I want to get in the habit of reviewing every book I read or not. I don't know. But it was another Brian Lumley in the Titus Crow um, series, book five, and then I I'm going to start book six probably in the beginning of June. But in between that, I started reading Reliquary, which was book two in the Pendergast series. And that one I highly doubt I'll finish that in 2 days. But if I do, who knows? I don't have baseball this week or travel baseball for my kid this weekend. So it's not like we're going to be driving around a whole bunch of places to where I have a ton of excess time to listen to shit. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some yard work and get some reading in to try and finish that before the end of the month. But I'm not gonna I'm not gonna try super hard just to make it so it's available to do for my monthly wrap up video. Um, so like if it happens, it happens. The one that will happen, I guarantee it, is we have 2 days to finish End Zone by Don DeLillo. Don DeLillo. I'm sorry, words are fucking hard today. Um, Yeah, End Zone by Don DeLillo. We're finishing that shit before the end of the month. Because yeah, I did an abysmal job on my last month's TBR. I think we only read what, two? It will be three out of the five books. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really a TBR person. I usually just kind of look at my shelves and I'm like, oh, no, oh, that looks good. Boom. And then I read that. I'm not really a plan it out kind of person when it comes to reading. I'm more of a mood reader. So we're trying new things here. The TBR was a complete failure this month, but there was a lot of other shit going on this month. This coming month, June, will definitely be a hell of a lot better in the amount of physical books I finish. I can guarantee that shit. Um, so yeah, stay tuned because this month was a dud. Um, so yeah, hang in there. Look for the reviews. There might be some, there might not. I don't know. We'll see. Um, or there might be reviews for the stuff that I listen to. Usually I review the books that are either really suck or were complete bangers. And then a couple others like Don DeLillo, Dale Brown. I'll review everything from like my favorite people. Um, but I don't know if I want to review like every book I read. Um, which I mean, it might turn out that way. Who knows? We're kind of figuring this out as we go. So that's what we're going to continue to do. So yeah, in other words, look for this review. This will be up there. And then probably Monday will be the monthly wrap up video. And then, as always, we have the top eight Tuesday coming up. I think we're doing fantasy this week. Um, Actually, I don't think. I know we're doing fantasy this week, and I'm going through it because there's like 20 books on that list right now. So we got to narrow it down. But that'll be coming. And then, of course, we have Military Thriller Thursday, which is Shadows of Steel this week by Dale Brown. So stay tuned because we are doing it, people. And until next time, read because reading is fundamental.